Hey everyone. So a new event came out today in Genshin Impact, and now that I've got the chance to run it on stream, links to that will be in the description, I want to talk a little bit about it and give some guidance to anyone who needs it. Because there are some things with this event that I think are worth knowing before going into it. So first thing you're going to notice right at the start of Legend of the Vegabond Sword is that 4 characters during each challenge are going to get a 20% damage increase during that specific fight. On the Primo Geoviz ship, they put Kazuha, which is a little weird since Kazuha isn't out yet, and by the time he is out, most people are already going to have completed this one. Klee, that's a little more, easy to understand. They want to incentivize people to summon for Klee before her banner leaves. I get that. Kazuha is just a little weird, but anyways, going into it, if you don't know how it works, it's like the hypostasis event from a while back. Pretty straightforward. You just select your difficulty. The higher difficulty you select, the more your score will multiply. So add whatever modifiers you want to increase the points you get for completing it at the end. Now, there are some modifiers you can select down here. And if you're kind of confused on which ones to choose, it's pretty straightforward. Choose the team that you want to go into it. So, if you're not using D-Luke or Hu Tao or anyone like that, throw on Pyro Resistance, because then the boss will take less Pyro damage, but that doesn't matter because you're not using any Pyro characters. Or maybe you're only using Bennett, who's not going to be a DPS. So, throw this on, and, you're set. Same thing for Hydro. You can still use Barbara as a healer, because she's not really a DPS character, so you're not going to see any effect of that. So these are free points. Another thing to note that makes it different from the Hypostatic Symphony event from before is the timer. In previous events like this, whatever you set the timer as is how much time you have, and if you don't win in this amount of time, you just lose the battle. In this event, however, you only get the points from here. You only get this 250, 150, 50 points if you beat the boss in this set amount of time. But if it goes over the time limit, you still get to fight the boss. You just won't get the extra points from the time limit. You'll still get the rest of the modifier points. You just won't get these. And I personally really like this change. So if you want to try and go for the highest one, the highest timer, go for it, because even if you miss the 120 seconds, the 2 minutes, if you go beyond that, you don't lose the battle, you just lose these points that you would have gotten from the timer. And if you beat it in less, then hey, you get the points. Overall, the Primo Geoviz ship's battle is pretty straightforward. Really, the only battle I want to give some tips on is the Oceanid. Now, this isn't the regular Oceanid fight that you see in the overworld, where she just summons Hydro Mimics to attack you and you fight those instead of the boss itself. This is the battle from the Rage of Rhodia event from a while back, where you got the Oceanid pet and had a new boss fight against the Oceanid. This is what that fight is based on. And during the fight, the Oceanid flies around and hovers over the ground. So while these characters are getting some bonus damage, really, I think the only one worth using is Yanfei, because she can still hit the Oceanid as she's hovering above the ground. Klee's bombs, for the most part, glide on the ground. My friend Beetle used Rosaria, and he struggled to hit the boss, because you're just floating above the whole battle. And I believe the same thing will happen with Eula. And it's also worth noting that 2 of those characters that get the bonus 20% damage are Cryo, Rosaria, and Eula. Even though Eula is more so a physical damage dealer, so this goes more so for Rosaria, Cryo Resistance is one of the modifiers. So if you want to put this on, that kind of eliminates those 2 characters. So don't let these 4 characters be the deciding factor of your team, especially for this fight. This one, Zhongli, Noelle, Diona, Primo Geovishap, you use shields against him to reflect his attacks, so these are all good. But I feel like the 4 characters on this fight are a bit of a bait. So if you don't have anyone on your team who's, gets the 20% damage increase, don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal. I didn't have any of these characters when I did this fight, and I still managed to get a pretty good score. So if you don't have any of these characters, or you don't have Yanfei leveled up and you might struggle, it's not the end of the world. I would definitely suggest bringing Fischl in here, or a bow character, because let me tell you, her floating up in the air gets really, really annoying. When I was using my D-Luke, trying to hit her with my E ability, and she's just floating up in the air, got very, very annoying. I honestly just need immune frames. So if you have Fischl, I'd bring her. And if you have Yanfei fully leveled up, she's your main DPS, that is perfect. Yanfei is probably the best character for this, but if you don't have these characters, don't worry about it. And also choose your modifiers wisely. Like here, none of the characters that get bonus damage are shield characters, and you might not even be using shields. You might just be using healers. So all parties members' shield strength decreased by 50%. If you're not using shield, that's totally fine. That's free points right there. You don't want to cripple your team too much, but if you have some stuff that you say, hey, that's not too bad, I can live with that, throw them on, get more points. Down here, when an active character's HP is lower than 50%, attack is decreased. If you're using shields, and if you have a healer, your HP should really never go below 50%. So you should be fine. One more thing that might be worth mentioning, the points that you get from clearing it only count towards these rewards here. But if you complete it without any modifiers, you'll still get the 60 Primo Gems. So if all you want from this event is the Primo Gems, and you don't care about any of the other rewards, just go on easy, no modifiers, and take out the bosses, 2 seconds, and you're good. But that's all I really want to say in regards to this event. From what I've played, I like it a lot. I really like boss fights. The next one is going to be the Magu Kenki, and then we're going to refight all of them with presumably harder modifiers, and then we're going to fight them all 3 in a row. Not at the same time, unfortunately. The final challenge is going to be a boss rush, fighting one after another. I would have liked to fight them all at once, but, that might be a little too chaotic. So, I get it. But yeah, that's all from me for today. I just wanted to give you some information that I would have liked to know before going into this event. It's pretty fun, and I hope you have fun with it as well. That's all from me for today. Thank you so much for watching.